So I'm in that room for the better part of an hour, I think. I mean, it wasn't like that long, but I mean, that's pretty short time for being anything in King County. Like that, you can be there for quite some time with the guards laughing at you. Anyway, so the guard comes over, he opens the door, and he looks at me, and my hinge cuffs are now in the front of me. I'm just kind of sitting there. I had, put them under my feet because it was really uncomfortable sitting with behind my back. He was like, hey, you're not supposed to do that. And I'm like, man, I'm not trying to do anything. I just really uncomfortable back there. I wanted them in the front. But I've got these long ape arms so I can get my feet out from under him. And he didn't like that. But he collected me with my cuffs. I just followed him with my flippity flops right in the middle of a courtroom. I'm standing in a courtroom. It looks slightly familiar. I'm pretty sure I've been in this courtroom in front of this judge before. But I mean, I can't say that I exactly remember it because I was probably really loaded. But whatever. I don't remember it. I have been here before, but I don't remember it. And the judge, gets to me. And they're like, Mr. Wilkes, and he was like, okay, approach bench. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I'm next to the bench, but I'm allowed to go stand there and talk or something. So I go up there, and he's like, I told you not to get in trouble for 1 year. And I'm like, yes, sir. And then I told you had to come back to my courtroom and talk to me. I'm like, I'm sorry, sir. Well, don't you let that happen again. Bailiff, kick him out of my jail. And I'm like, yes, sir. I won't let it happen again. And the bailiff's like, follow me, Mr. Wilkes. So I follow him, out the courtroom. He brings me to a door. He leans down. He unclips my cuffs. He takes the cuffs. He opens this door. And, he very nicely on my shoulder, he pushes me out the door. And he's like, shuts the door. I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, you're free to go. I'm like, but I'm standing here in the middle of the You took me from Yakima. This is Seattle. I'm in flip-flops and I got colored pencils. And he's laughing and he slams the door. And all of a sudden, I'm standing in the middle. I got a 200-mile ride to Seattle. I wasn't planning on. The guard thinks it's funny, and I'm standing there. I got a court paper, a worn out King James version of the Bible, a little box of colored pencils, some wore out jeans, a ripped shirt, and some flippity flops, and I'm standing in the middle of Seattle. They just kicked me out the side door. And I'm like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do now? So I'm standing there for probably a minute. I mean, just kind of soaking in this reality that I'm glad I'm out of jail. I left Seattle because I didn't want to get in trouble in Seattle because that judge is mean. Or he's just strict. I mean, I don't know. You take it how you want it. I don't want to piss him off. And I know that I piss people off. So now and he brought me back, but then kicked me out. I was like, what? So I'm soaking it in, and I look over. I mean, down at the bus stop. I don't know if I'd kind of stumbled down the hill half a block. I think that's what happened. I must have. Because, I mean, I'm looking over to the left side of me is this big-ass, corrections facility. And I kind of go down to the corner, and I'm just kind of standing there. I don't got no hustle. I don't got nothing. I mean, I'm not trying to go downtown. I don't want to slam dope. I don't want none of that. I'm just like, fuck, what do I do now? And I look over, and not even 5 minutes after I'm out of this jail, I look over, and there's a bus stop. And my mom, my biological mother, her name's Mela. I'm looking at this this bus stop, and I'm like, well, there's a native lady sitting on that bus stop. She looks a lot like a Blackfoot native lady. Wait a minute. Mom? And I ain't seen my mom in years. And I look, and it's like my mom sitting at this bus stop. I'm like, this is insane. And I come over to her, I'm like, Mom, and I'm like crossing the street again, and she gets up, and she comes over to me. She's like looking at me, and she's like, Kia? Kia, you know, she just jumps up and just grabs me, you know, and I'm like, what are the chances? It's astronomical. I get kicked out the side door. I know my mom lives in Seattle, but why is she sitting on a bus stop next to the damn jail? I mean, so weird. She's like, I haven't seen you in forever. Come on, our family's over here. And so I follow her down the road. She had left the bar. And I walked into this bar. It was like a few blocks away. I don't know exactly what bar it was or if it's still there. I remember walking into the bar. I remember waking up on my mom's couch the next day. And then my mom came up to me and says, dude, we are never allowed in that bar again. So I'm still not allowed in that bar. I never go back, but I'm just not allowed in that bar ever again. Or my family. But I can't tell you, even walking in there, it doesn't even make any sense. Like, how's my recorder not going to work directly in there? Okay. Last arrest for this chapter. I mean, there's lots of them, but I just trying to pick a couple. All right, so I'm at my dad's house. I've been trying to stay out of trouble. I'm just chilling there. I'm not trying to do anything dumb. I'm just like trying to stay out of trouble. I'm not chasing any street drugs. I mean, I'm at home. I'm hiding, and I get a knock at the door, and I'm like, oh, that's weird. Who's here? Like, I know my dad's gone. My sisters are gone. Everybody's gone. You know, it's just me in the house, and I'm just sitting there watching TV. So I get up and I open the door. I'm like, you know, open the door, and I have to look up. I'm like, you know, and there's two of the biggest federal fucking marshals I have ever, you know, and I don't know that I've really ever seen that many federal marshals, so I may not be the right guy to talk about federal marshals. I can only talk about the couple that I've seen, or a few that I've seen. So anyway, these were some pretty big dudes. I mean, they're not small. They're above average size. I don't know, they look like big motherfuckers to me. Anyway, they're very professionally dressed. They have very stern professional attitudes. And they knew who they were looking at. They're like, Mr. Wilkes. I'm like, yeah, that's me. Is it, we have a warrant for your arrest. I need you to come with us. And I'm like, can I go quietly? And the other one that wasn't talking on his right side just kind of shrugged his shoulders. Like, I want to interpret that for you. That means there's only one outcome. And I'm going in the back of that fucking cop car. That's all there is to it. There is no other story happening at all. Either fucking way is what it can also mean. Like, you can go ahead and run. You can have the ass whipping if you want. I mean, it's whatever you want to do here. It's just happening. And I don't give a shit. Pick any option. It's like choose your own adventure. What are you going to do? Are you going to get an ass whipping today, or are you just going to follow us and start listening? I was totally tired of ass whippings at this point. I mean, I had a lot of legendary ass whippings, and some of them, actually most of them, by uniformed people, and I'm good, dude. I'm straight with all that ass whipping shit. So anyway, back over to the story. He's like, you're coming with us, and I was like, can I go quietly? They're like, and they kind of looked at each other like, yeah. And then the guy's like, man, what? And so I stepped out of the door. You know, I didn't have anything on me. I think I might have had a pocket knife. I think I was like, dude, I don't know. Maybe this is one of those times where I had a pocket knife, because I had a time where that, and I was just like, can I toss my pocket knife on the floor here? You know, so I might have tossed my pocket knife on the floor just because it causes them not to have any extra crap to worry about. I'm just going to throw this stuff here so you guys don't have anything else to write in your paperwork. Or might not have on me. I generally have a pocket knife on me like 1,000,000,000% of the time. Unless there's a reason not to, because some people might take a tool the wrong way. I think it's a tool. I don't really think it's a weapon at all. I don't. Anyway, back over to the story. I step out on the porch, and the guy pulls out his cuffs. Like, I think the other guy, because I think one guy was talking, the other guy pulls out his cuffs. I'm pretty sure. And I was like, can I smoke a cigarette from the porch to the car? And let's say it's about 20 feet. And the one cop looks at the other cop, and I'm like, well, yeah, absolutely. So they didn't cuff me right at that moment. I quickly grabbed my pack, pulled a cigarette out, and lit one. And I was like hotboxing that son of a bitch for 20 feet. I got to the edge, and right there my dad had like a little bit of cement on the driveway. I dropped it on the side. I put it out, and I held out my hands. And I think that's when they cuffed me. And I got in the back of the cop car. So they back up, and then they start driving down Tieton, and away we go. Downtown. And this is all the way downtown. The Federal Douglas Building. I had never ever wanted to go to a federal judge before, and I had talked about this before that I was going to talk about this, and I kind of have to talk about it now. I'm gonna jump in jail, and this is where the chapter changes, because now we're talking about courtrooms, so we're gonna call that something at some point. So I'm driving down. They pull in. Not exactly sure where I was and how I got into the building. I mean, there's different ways they get into the building. I'm not sure how they got me into the building. I think they pull into the back now, but maybe they didn't then. I don't know. I just, was completely cooperative, 1,000,000%. I had no attitude whatsoever. I just knew that whatever it was is what it is, and I'm not going to make it any worse than what it already is. And the cops were very polite and stern. They were very professional, and that's all that I have to say about that. But I can tell you right now, I was going with them. Believe that.